Think about the clothes on you right now. Where did it come from? How was it made? Who made it? How much water was used to make it? Where will it end up when you're done with it? There are 1,000 questions you could ask about anything and everything we wear, but we'll never ask it. This is fast fashion, a system that is giving us cheap clothes quickly, but at the cost of our spinning rock. Fast fashion is a system of producing clothing very quickly in huge quantities and at the lowest possible cost. A trend goes viral on TikTok today, and by tomorrow, thousands of new versions have already been made online by a bunch of brands like Shein, Zara, H&M. This model didn't exist 25 years ago because back then fashion was really just following the 4 seasons. It was spring, summer, fall, winter. Now, some fast fashion companies are releasing thousands of new designs every single week. The speed is what's making it fast, but what's really behind it is how disposable the clothes are. These clothes are not meant to last. The fabrics are cheap, the stitching is horrible, and the designs go out of style pretty much immediately. We always buy something, we wear it a handful of times, and then we toss it. Usually a fast fashion clothing item is worn less than 10 times before it's thrown out. So this is a cycle that keeps us buying and keeps us wasting. Fast fashion is terrible for our spinning rock. And a lot of people don't realize how deep this problem goes. Let's start with just the water. One cotton t-shirt takes hundreds of gallons of water to make. Cotton farming is super water intensive, and a lot of the cotton producing regions are already facing water shortages. There's another issue with synthetic fabrics. These fabrics release microplastic fibers that pass through all of our water and then eventually end up in our rivers, our oceans, and then eventually always lead back into our bodies. Plus, there's the waste. Because these clothes are so cheaply made, that means they're just as easily thrown out. The average consumer today buys a lot more clothing than previous generations, but keeps these items for half as long. Most of these clothes always end up in landfills anyways. Dyeing clothes is also a problem. Textile dyeing is one of the biggest sources of water pollution globally. It can result in entire waterways turning blue, red, or black depending on whatever color is being produced that day. Fast fashion doesn't just impact the environment though, it also impacts people. The majority of the world's clothing is made in countries where labor is cheap and the regulations are weak. Terrible wages, and don't make enough to cover just basic food or housing. The factories are hot and they're crowded and they're unsafe. One of the biggest wake-up calls we've seen is the Rana Plaza collapse in 2013. A huge factory in Bangladesh collapsed and over 1,100 people were killed and more than 2,500 were injured. Some of these workers only earn a few dollars a day. Some work 14 to 16 hours just to meet the unrealistic production deadlines. So if this is so terrible, why do we even buy it in the first place? Part of it is the psychology. Fast fashion takes advantage of the feeling good and the getting something new and the quick hit of excitement, the dopamine we get. The low price of it makes it seem harmless, but in reality, we continue to buy more, and then we're just wasting all of our money, even though we know we don't really need it. And then social media will continue to fuel the cycle. Influencers have the new outfits. They'll have the new clothing brands, the TikTok hauls with the hundreds of dollars worth of stuff. It's terrible. Fast fashion, it's trained us to see these clothes as they're just disposable. Like we can just continue to get more, and once that's out, we get the new one. And because of this, the trends continue to change faster, and people feel the pressure to try to stay up, keep up. But in reality, this consumption is making us no happier. All it's doing is just making the industry richer. The good news is that the fashion industry is slowly starting to change. There's new technologies, we're starting to develop new fabric recycling methods, there's biodegradable materials that are making it easier to create clothing with less waste. There's also other brands that are starting to experiment with using a rental model or a resale program. Others are starting to shift towards made-to-order production instead of just producing the clothes and then having them sit in a warehouse somewhere until they get ordered. This then reduces overstocking and excess waste. While these changes are small, it still shows that the industry is evolving and still can evolve. Fast fashion isn't something that just one person can fix though, but we are able to make better choices. Buying less is always an effective option. I mean, that just gets rid of the trend of the fast fashion. You can also consider thrifting, buying secondhand clothes, thrifting, vintage shops, that sort of thing, because then you're reducing the waste and you're extending the lifetime of a piece of clothing that has been tossed away already. You could also go for quality over quantity. You can get shirts that can last you a while, other than buying 5 cheap ones that are going to fall apart after a month. And you can also do your research and find brands that are considered more ethical or sustainable. I mean, they are going to cost more, but I mean, it's way better. Fashion should be really an expression of who you are and not something that destroys our planet. I know fast fashion has given us endless trends and endless cheap clothes and endless whatever, but it's just it comes at such a huge cost. And by understanding the impact and making small changes, you're able to shift the system towards something better. So next time you go shopping, think about what you're buying.